is a part of the sit-in on the House floor.
He joins us now on the phone. Congressman Schiff, good morning, sir. Where are you right now?
Well, I'm on my way back to the floor. We recessed last night about 3:30, quarter 4. It was about a 24-hour day for me. So I got a bit of rest. I'm heading back to the floor and going to continue to push until we can get a vote. The majority has been unwilling for years now to schedule votes on gun measures. And unfortunately, we have to resort to essentially a House filibuster. There's no mechanism for a filibuster like there is in the Senate. So we had to bring the proceedings to a halt yesterday, and we're determined to press on until we can get a vote.
Congressman, can you clarify for us exactly what Democrats want to vote on when it comes to stricter gun laws? What is in these bills that Republicans don't want to vote on?
Well, the two things that we are trying to get a vote on are frankly supported by the vast majority of the American people, including a majority of NRA members. And it's a simple proposition that if you're on the no-fly list because of your ties to suspected terrorists, you shouldn't be able to go into a gun store and buy a gun either. Why should we make it easy for people to kill lots of fellow Americans by getting easy access to weapons when they're on the no-fly list? And similarly, we want a system of universal background checks. It doesn't make any sense today that you can go into a store to buy a weapon, fail the background check, leave the store and buy that exact same weapon from someone selling it off the back of their truck. And that's what we want to get a vote on.
As you know, Speaker Ryan has suggested that while these may be good ideas in principle, as he put it, he's concerned about the idea that a bill that would take away constitutional rights, he's not going to allow that sort of a vote in the House. What do you say to that?
Well, then why allow people to be put on a list where they can't fly? I mean, if that's the concern that there's not adequate due process, well, then we should address the due process. But Republicans don't have any problem depriving people of their ability to get on a plane if they're considered to be too dangerous because of ties to terror. But because of the NRA, they will let those people get guns. That makes no sense to the American people. But more than that, if that's their position, then let them back it up with a vote. Let them answer to their constituents. Let individual representatives have to go back home and say, I voted so that people who are on the terrorism watch list could go buy an assault weapon, and that's my position. But they're not willing to do it. They don't want to be held accountable. So they deprive the American people and the Congress of having a vote on issues American people really care deeply about.
We see this sort of thing a lot of times in Europe or in other countries. This is kind of unprecedented for us here in the U.S. And some critics are saying it's civil disobedience, no way to run this institution. We just heard from Representative King calling it mob rule. What do you say to that?
Well, I would say a couple of things. First of all, we again woke to the news today of another mass shooting, this one in Germany, as a matter of fact. This is a global problem. But the dysfunction in our government isn't that we had resort to shutting the House down to get a vote last night. The dysfunction is that we can't get votes on things that are very common sense that the vast majority of American people want. About 90% of the American people say they want a rule that says if you can't fly, you can't buy a weapon like an assault weapon. And so the real dysfunction is that a group, the NRA, has such a stranglehold on the Congress that even these very basic measures can't see the light of day, and that's where the real problem lies.
Congressman Schiff, as you know, the Congress is now on a holiday break. How long do you intend to continue the sit-in? And speak to what Speaker Ryan is saying about the fact that, as he called it, this is a publicity stunt. Is it a publicity stunt?
It's certainly determined to get the attention of the American people, and I think that it has. But it's much more than getting people's attention. We would like to get a vote. We'd like to have the democracy operate the way it's supposed to. And I find it very curious that the Speaker, who is depriving the American people of having votes on these key issues, a Speaker that claims to want to have transparency and accountability, is unwilling to put his own members to the risk of having to vote on this. He doesn't want to have to defend these votes, and so he won't hold the votes. And to me, that's where the real problem lies. It lies with a leadership that is trying to run away from its responsibility in the face of overwhelming public opinion.
Representative Adam Schiff, we appreciate you calling in and talking to us this morning.
Thank you.